Welcome to the AK Roundtable. Love seeing all you guys on here. I have at the bottom of the screen here, at least on my end, I see participants, which means you can see who's in the call. You can see the chat bubble next to that. Go ahead and communicate with each other. Put stuff into the main chat window for main questions if you have any. If you can't jump onto the to ask it yourself. As well, next to that, you see a heart, and then you see a react button there, and you can throw up the hands, the raise your hands. You can put your hand up if you have a question, or if you're looking to put some input in. You also see some reactions and send some effects as well. Playing one of those for you now, but the next part of it is we love having the ability to connect with each other here on this call. So we have our Asphalt Kingdom community here. At the very top, I'm going to go onto if you click on participants and go to your own name there, it'll say more when you hover over the right-hand side of it. Click the rename and then pop in your first name and your email address. And that way we can share amongst each other. So if you guys haven't done I see Jimmy's got it up there. Perfect. Hank's got it up. Awesome. Cameron's doing great as well. There's a few of you guys. Oh, Dylan's got it as well. Skylar's got his up there. So feel free to communicate that way as well. If you guys need, if you here's something you're like, man, I got to ask that guy another question, throw him an email and see what's out there for you for connections. Yeah, so let's get into this week. For anybody that's new, first of all, anybody on the screen that's new? I think I see a couple people here that are new. I got Johnny here for sure. I don't know who else in here is newer, but we're going to go through some. Sean, are you new as well, brother? Or you've been here a while? You've been here before?
This is my second time, man.
Second time? Perfect. Welcome, brother. Cool. First thing we like doing is we like throwing out some wins. So between last Wednesday and today, anybody got a win to throw there and share with the team here? Anybody got a win? Something win. It could be personal, it could be business, it could be almost anything. What are you winning at today?
Hi, everybody. This is Sean Taylor with Shoreline Striping. We just finished a training with Asphalt Kingdom, and it went great. So that was definitely a win for us.
I saw a phenomenal picture of Sean down in the bottom right corner on my screen, and Coach Skylar, and I saw Michael on there as well, which was amazing from last weekend. That looked like a great training session. That's awesome. That's awesome. So I'm sure you'll be able to at least, put that up as a win on your calendar, eh, Sean?
Oh, yes.
All right. All right, Cameron. What do you got for us, brother?
Today was a really good day for me personally. We did 3 driveway extensions, and 2 of which were like pretty phenomenal. They were like pretty spot on. I was very happy with the work that the guys had done. The other one was good as well, but I like perfection. And the 2 looked very, very good. And then on top of that, my hands are healing. I was a little complacent with crack filling, and I had what I thought would never happen to me, and I got crack fill on me.
Oh, brutal. Sorry to hear that, brother. I swear, I've seen a few incidents where people got hurt from things around work, and they typically don't happen when you expect them to. They typically happen when you're not expecting it at all. And complacency sets in. Sometimes we're just not quite as careful as we usually are, but always make sure you're wearing PPE. Make sure you have a safety meeting before you start your project. I swear some of those things will really just keep that top of mind so you're safe. And I'm glad you didn't lose anything, but I'm sure those burns don't feel very good.
Yeah, I was lucky. I had some on my face, and then my ear got hit pretty good too. But we were doing a storage unit, and like it was 2,600 linear feet, and I was like on the last 500 feet, and it happened. And then when I refilled it, I was so upset.
Oh man, the most accidents happen within 2 miles of your home. It's crazy, eh? It's kind of like that last bit. You're just like, man, I'm almost there. It's just around this corner or whatever, Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're all right, brother. Heal up, and I'm sure that won't ever happen again. Let's put it that way. Cool. All right. Anybody else got a great win from this last week? By the way, congratulations on those drive extensions. That's awesome. Finishing off work and seeing some really good stuff put down. That's awesome. Congratulations. Anybody else got something to share? That was you, Ruthie? All right, let's go.
Hello, all. Sorry I missed last week.
You're good.
But I'll say it again. I've said it before. The coaching does work. Even if I don't use, even if you don't utilize every piece of it when you need to, it does work. So thank you, Coach Dylan, Coach Mackey. I mean, she's always, she's coaching me. So, but Coach Dylan is phenomenal. We went over maybe like 3 weeks ago. I needed to start making more calls, and I actually didn't make a call. I stopped down the street. I've been riding by this place because it's like right around the corner from my house. I've been riding by it for every day of my life. And I said, you know what? I mustered up the courage and I just went in there and talked to the lady. She told me, don't even worry about giving her like a pavement assessment. Just go straight to the proposal. I did that. I sent it over to her. That was like on, I think, October 10th. And then they just closed today. She wants, they were going to wait. At first, she said they were going to wait until late spring of next year. And then she said, no, I talked it over with my partner and we want to go ahead and get it done. So this weekend, I'll be self-performing. I'm looking for some help if I get it before then, but it's only like maybe 5,000 square feet, probably about 10 parking spots, 1 ADA. But if they want the seal coat, they want the crack fill, and it's not a huge win, but it's huge for me because, sadly, I don't want to say sadly, for the amount of time that I've had my business, and been getting the coaching and things like that, I should be further along than that. But it's been kind of I don't want to say a struggle, but it's been a challenge for me and I've been working through it. So I will say this though, if you have, if you're facing a similar challenge like that, anybody on here, I do, I was doing it for a while and I actually stopped doing it. And then I was like, what am I doing different that I was doing last year?
This meeting is being recorded.
YouTube has a lot of it on there, is the like the binaural beats or like the tones that you can listen to just like while you're driving, or I do them while I'm sleeping. So I don't know. I put on one like for confidence. I put on one like for organization and all that, and listen to it for a few nights. And I think the night before I went and talked to that lady was the one I did for the confidence and all that. So I went and talked, and for the thing I have to do this weekend. So it may be helpful to somebody else on here if you use it or check it out and see. It was helpful for me. So that's it. But yeah, whew.
Congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Awesome. I love when you persist and keep moving forward, and no matter what's coming up as far as issues, you got to keep pushing through that wall. Once that wall breaks, it starts becoming this broken dam and you start going, holy moly. That's awesome. Congratulations, Ruthie.
Thank you.
I'm excited for you. I know everybody else is on here too. Your first step is typically the one that's the most difficult, but then you start get that ball rolling, the gears moving, you're good to go. I love the fact that you also broke through some fear. One of the things I find is that the fear that holds you back, and I mentioned this book, I think 2 weeks ago, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, because fears would stop in most of us, in most of our lives. You got it, didn't you? She got the book. Good for her. But when you let fear win, yeah, you typically don't grow very much. Did you get the book, Ruthie?
I didn't get the book. I meant to go back over that to hear it again, and I'm writing down the title again now so I can download it.
There you go.
Feel the fear. Yeah.
Do it anyway.
And do it anyway. It's just to add to that too. It is. I know it was fear, and I'm one of those people. I'm like, I'm so strong. I hate to accept it. I had to accept it, and that's exactly what it was. And I'm like, I had to get over it because I'm like, if you only make one call in 1 year, you may not get that result. The more, and that's what Dylan, your coach, was trying to stress me. You have to get out there, and I haven't made as many as I should, or even had as many interactions as I should. But the few that I did, one of, I think she was like one of 3 for that week, whatever I did that week, or one of 5 for that week, and that actually turned over into something. So I'm like, I'm seeing it, I'm feeling it. I'm believing it and pushing through it and getting over that. And you guys are awesome. I say it all the time. I love being here. I try to make it every week when I can. And I love the community. Thank you.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Good job. Sweet. Awesome. Anybody else got something to share that they feel strongly about? Anything that you have as far as a win in the last week? Hey, Steve, go for it, brother.
Hey, we connected with a power partner about a month ago, Keeley Construction, which they're nationwide. They gave us, we had like a 341 space parking lot that we did. They seal coated it with another, they outsourced the seal coating. Or actually, I think they do the seal coating and crack sealing in-house, but they do any mill work, the asphalt, they do that. They outsource that. But they outsource all the striping. So we did that lot a few weeks ago, and then just last week, Thursday, they called me and asked me to do a Costco, which was a $9,000 job, and that was just a restripe. So I didn't have to worry about, on the first job, their equipment broke down, everything got delayed. We were working, they're asking us to come in at like midnight and stripe. I'm like, no, I'm like, I'll be there tomorrow at 7 p.m. when the business closes. You can keep your cones up, whatever you need to do or whatever. But I'm like, I'm not going out at midnight to stripe the parking lot. Costco, we kind of had to do. So we were out till about 2:30 in the morning, 2 nights in a row. It was getting down to like 45 degrees. So everything wasn't perfect or ideal, but in Colorado, 45 degrees isn't too cold. It's not like the Midwest. So,
Absolutely.
but they've asked me a couple months ago to do a couple of Costco's. I'm in the Denver area. They were in Durango, which is like 6.5 hours away, and Pagosa Springs, which is like 5 hours away. And I said, yeah, no, I'm not sure I'm even qualified to do that. But this one I didn't want to turn down. And if you remember last time I talked, Honda gave us that brand new machine to film a video for them, that we did a commercial for internal for Honda. And so now I have 2 machines, so it was easier to do 650 spots and 25 handicaps. So it was, we're looking forward to definitely what these guys might have for us next year. I want to sit down with them and see what I might be able to expect from them, and then just finding another partner like them. So
now maybe talking to the guy 6.5 hours away might be worthwhile
yeah,
doing it.
exactly. Yeah, because they said they pay for all room and board. They build
Sure.
all that into the quote. So
Love
like
it.
you don't have to worry about that. You just need to get there and have the manpower. So
Yeah. How did you just a quick question off the topic. When you're line striping on Costco's have those double walled lines that basically between vehicles, right?
this one
They
did
have-
not.
No.
No.
Interesting.
Yeah,
All the
I've
ones
noticed
I've
that
been
on-
to around here in Canada, they all have the double line, and they have that whoop-de-loo, the U shape at the bottom, right? That nice
Yep,
rounded
I have
spot.
seen those. Yeah.
So I'm going, did you buy custom ones, or did they provide you with the stencils? Because sometimes you have to go get custom stencils just to match up with their specs, right? So it's like,
Yeah, well, I've got so New Stripe is right here in Aurora, and they make stencils. So we had to make a stencil for an enter sign. So we got that before the thing in the stop area instead in front of the little stop line. So all I got to do is call and ask, and I can have it within 2 days. So yeah, I definitely would have made one of those little U's for the end of the 2 lines.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's great. Good news, and congratulations. That's phenomenal, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Phenomenal. Love hearing the wins. Love hearing the wins. So before we switch into question period, I wanted to just quickly plug the workshop. So anybody on this screen hasn't heard about our pothole hunting workshop tomorrow? Anybody on here hasn't heard about it?
I did.
So tomorrow we have one at 7 p.m. Judd's hosting that. It's about an hour and a half long. There are 3 prizes. There's an R2 infrared unit. There is swag and something else decent. But it's like $4,000 worth of stuff. But not just that though. I've seen the presentation and it's phenomenal. Like it's phenomenal. You'll love it. He's can basically show you how to make between $10,000 and $50,000 a month just pothole hunting. So it's going to be great. It'll be really cool. Anybody needs that link, I'll send one to you, Steve. If you throw your email into your window there, I'll send it over to you right away. Okay. after this call. Awesome. Matt, nice to see you, brother. Welcome to the call. Appreciate your support, man. Okay, so I guess we're going to the spot where anybody has a question about anything to do with asphalt, would love to answer some of those. I got at least one coach on here. His name is Skylar Griman, and I got Matt Phillips as well. He got phenomenal information. So anybody have a question that they want to throw out to the group? Nobody. Man, you guys are well informed. Everybody's got everything on the pin.
Mateus, I have one, and
All right.
might be an open-ended question, but just wanted to throw it out there. So I told you on the phone earlier, right? I haven't gotten into the industry at all, brand new, looking to get into it, and I didn't realize that there's so many add-ons to things, right? So your question there is asphalt, right? Any questions revolving around asphalt? I was looking into it as line striping only, but now that I've started to look into it more and more, I mean, man, I'm 24 hours into this idea, but I believe I'm going down the right track. I was doing line stripe. I was in my mind thinking about line striping, and then now I start coming across seal coating. Now I start coming across the potholes like you're talking about on the call tomorrow, and then also crack filling. I'm wondering, is that really the way to go to become the one-stop shop, or do you think I should specialize in maybe just the line striping to start, or do you think it would be more or less better to kind of jump in and dip my foot into every single one to start?
All right, I'm going to leave that either to Matt or to Skylar or both.
If I can
I
answer,
always say just
oh, go ahead, Skylar.
just generate revenue first, specialize in making money, sell the projects, sub stuff out, buy nice equipment after you have the money and start there, because they're all going to compound. Like even in one specialty, they're all going to add on each other, in my opinion, right? You just do line stripe, you're going to need the seal coat and the crack fill. If you just do crack fill, you're going to need the seal coat and the line stripe. Like they just compound. So just to me, it's sell projects and then, figure out what of those things, once you see the process, you want to self-perform.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I was going to say, do you already have line stripe equipment?
No, sir, but I'll be working with plenty of capital to start up. I've got a good amount of money saved, and I'm partnering with another go-getter that is also in the same situation. So, I mean, I think that the capital side of things on getting started is not really a problem. But as of right now, like I said, we're super fresh on the idea, just kind of trying to gain a better understanding, wanting to learn from people's successes and failures to start off. But no, we don't have any kind of equipment as of right now, but we'll be working on it here within the next week or two.
Yeah. So if your business plan is, was originally seal coat or striping, and I've talked on here several times, and I know Skylar has, I know Judd has, about finding performance partners, and that's what Skylar was just alluding to there. You find a performance partner, somebody that does seal coating or somebody that even does line striping, because you could go sell line striping and have a performance partner line stripe for you. But you do need to find and qualify them, check their quality of work, make sure that they're, not fly-by-nighters. I call them seal coat gypsies or whatever the case may be, but you just want to make sure that you've got those in place. And even for like me, I've got a crack seal performance partner, because he has several trailers of crack seal trailers and he can go do jobs before me. So my seal coater guys get in there and they just do the seal coat. And then I also have line stripe performance partners. Even though I do my own line striping, I have a truck with a couple line stripe machines and all the stencils and everything. Even though I can do it, I still performance partners, because I can make more revenue. I make more money and on times. And so once you've learned the system and understand the processes, that helps out. So you're fortunate, because a lot of guys that get on here, or people that get on here, and they say, oh, I'm just starting out and I just bought a, a Titan 850, which is a, if that's what you're going to start with, then do what you can and make as much money as you can to upgrade your equipment. So you're in a better position than most that you have capital to be able to make that choice. But whatever your business plan is, start it, follow it, build it, and grow it. And you don't have to be doing everything your first year unless you have the capacity to do that. So that's the biggest thing, is capacity, knowledge, and experience. So you want to get that knowledge. So if you can shadow somebody seal coating, or if you can shadow somebody line striping or whatever, just to learn it and go from there. So that's what I would recommend doing.
Awesome. I appreciate the feedback, gentlemen. Specialized, not generalized, is what I'm really taking away. So I appreciate it.
To be fair, too, both of the gentlemen that just spoke up have monster companies with everything, all the services. We also start people off in that space as well. Not to say that it's right or wrong either way. If you're looking for a short hockey stick curve, adding more to it can be beneficial with coaching and with the training side of things. But starting out, if you're starting out small, say, hey, I just want to do this on my own and I want to get into the field, because you will get questions. You guys can call me on this, but you will get questions from the people you're going to be servicing in the line striping side of things that go, hey, do you do line striping? Do you do crack filling? Do you do, pothole repair? They're going to ask you that. Now you can, like they said, outsource that to somebody that does that already. But at some point in time, you're going to probably bring that back into your company, because there's good margins in all of that. So awesome. Good question though, by the way. Yes, Ruthie.
I'm getting used to it. I'm sorry. Just really quick, because I do have the pros on here. I already looked into it and I know that I'm going to need just because of the temperatures here. I believe it from Seal Master is called Fast Dry, which is to put in there to kind of accelerate the drying time. Because I'm going to have a wind. Well, I'll be there early in the morning cleaning and doing all that on Saturday, but I'll have that window for maybe like 4 hours, at least 60 degrees, and then it's going to drop down to like 49 that night. So I know I'm not going to be able to get lines on there that same day. I already told the client it's going to be Saturday and Sunday. They're closed both days, so it's not really a big deal. But is there? I'm sure there's a ratio, but is that from, like I said, what I've looked up already? It should be the Fast Dry that goes in there because I'm getting it from Seal Master. Is there like another workaround maybe to help it dry faster, or is it just stick with that and let it do its thing?
Depends what type of material you have already too. Are you buying like RT with the pump, or are you buying concentrate and making your own sealer?
It's the concentrate. He mixes it for me at Seal Master. So he, pumps the concentrate and then adds the water into it.
Okay, great. So that's even better. So I would just cut back water dilution as well. Instead of, they're probably giving you 35 or 40%. 30%. I would cut back. Yeah, you can cut it back even more.
Okay.
I mean, you don't want to cut it back a ton, but another 5% in cold temps like this will help.
Okay.
I don't know what type of sealer you're buying. If you're buying emulsion, you're pushing it with it being cold. If you can get coal tar, it would be better. With the temps, like, it'll help. It's not the solve all be all, but it will help. And then run your fast dry additive for sure. And I wouldn't like Seal Masters, like mixed ratios tell you to dilute it and then add it in. I would just add the concentrate straight in. And then depending on your sand load, if you run sand in your sealer, I would probably run in 5,000. You said what, 5,000 square? I would probably put like another 50 pounds of sand into that mix. All of those things will help. Yeah.
Okay.
All of those things will help collectively.
Okay. Thanks, Coach. I appreciate that.
All right. Yeah, this is Alex. I think I'll hop in on this. Seal Master's a pretty big outfit, so they might already have a winter blend. Okay. So they might, like where I get my sealer from locally, they completely stop the summer blend like around the end of September, and they that already has fast dry and the extra sand already added in.
Okay.
It's the steel guard, and then the summer blend's called overcoat. But just ask them.
That sounds like
that
sounds like a
thing.
West Coast. That sounds like a West Coast markup tactic, bro. I've never heard of anything like that on the East Coast. And we actually get
blend?
winter. No, we don't. I've never heard of that. It's smart. Like they should do it, but yeah, which is crazy. I feel like we have harsher winters over here than you. Yeah, that's funny.
I'll ask him.
Oh,
I'll ask him.
Well, I mean, yeah. They might
Thank
have a winter
you.
blend.
I dig it. All right. I will do.
All right.
Fingers crossed and let you know the results.
Is there a quick question on my end? Fast dry, how quick do I got to put it down once I have it?
Oh,
Just just a thought. How quick do I got to put that down? Anybody? Matt?
Yeah, so a lot of those additives that go in there, those drying additives, if it's contained in your tank, it's not going to like set up and gel up in your tank if it's in your tank for a week or so. Now if it's outside, it might freeze on you, but really all that additive does is it somehow chemically causes that water to evaporate off. It's almost like changing the water content in that emulsion to like isopropyl alcohol. So when it hits the ground, that water is flashing off, and that's what's curing. Your seal coat is still going to be, it might flash over, but it's still going to be tacky, and so you still have to really let it dry. Try to keep traffic off of it. But really, and that's why Skylar is saying cut down on your water, because you eliminate when you put down emulsion, the time you're waiting for is for that water to flash off and dry and leave that emulsion to bond to your pavement surface. You reduce that water, you're adding sand, so that sand helps take up that volume, and so anyway, that's that fast dry, or there's a couple other I can't think of them right now, but there's
FSA.
a couple additives. Yep, yeah, and you could put those in there, but check with like he was saying, talk to your Sealmaster rep. I don't use Sealmaster, but I do know they will custom make if you ask about it. So but yeah, that's
cool. Thank you.
Yep.
I'll put a call in tomorrow. And then, well, for the lines too, I definitely want to do water-based paint, right? For the lines on top of that.
So I run oil during the winter months. I actually run oil all the time, but oil is better for the cold temperatures because it will dry faster. And again, your asphalt, if you're reaching, 50, 60 degrees in temperature, your ambient temperature of your asphalt is only going to be maybe 100 degrees. But as soon as that sun sets, that asphalt's going to cool off. And you might see, on some of the forums, you see people's line stripes they're painting, and it's all the paint's flaking off. That's because that water, your paint has water in it, and it doesn't dry as fast in the cooler temperatures. Whereas oil, I could spray oil and it could be, 32 degrees or 38 degrees, and it'll cure. It just takes longer.
All right.
Now Skylar's put down a lot more paint than I have, so he can answer that probably better than I.
Yeah, I mean, if you're running one machine and you're swapping colors, it's going to be a big chore to flush the system. So how many machines are you running? How many colors?
Well, just one, and then I have the lines are white, so it's only like 10 lines, crosswalk, and then the ADA I can roll that with a bucket, like just get a bucket and roll, because there's only one ADA spot.
Yeah. You do like the blue line or whatever with the roller.
Yeah. Yes. They wanted fire lane at first, and now they're saying they don't want fire lane. So I was like, All right, cool. Saves me on having to get another color.
Yeah. If you're swapping oil-based paint, going to have fun. But yeah, usually we use I use water-based for everything, and then we just wash out at the end of the day. But if you're the other gentleman is probably running oil-based, and he just leaves it in the machine all season long, probably.
Okay.
You would have to answer that, but you don't need to clean it out as much.
All right, cool. Thank you. I appreciate the hints, helpful tips. I'll put them into use this weekend, and I will let you guys know. Cross fingers and toes for me, please.
Let's go. That's awesome.
Thanks, y'all.
Absolutely.
Hey, I had a question.
For sure. What's up, Matty?
How you doing, brother? First
Doing
time
great.
on the top.
Welcome, my man. Welcome.
I have a couple of jobs I had to let go just because I was so unsure. You know what I mean? That feeling where you're just like, look, I don't want to screw this up kind of situation. So, and that was a new layout situation, and that was because of new asphalt. So this is still pertaining to asphalt, but I'm not sure how soon right after asphalt is laid down that I can stripe. And I do primarily striping, so just trying to understand that kind of sector, but that crossover between asphalt and then right into striping.
Good question. Anyone want to hit that one?
I do it the same day, like a few hours after. But you don't want hot asphalt. So as long as it's not hot, if it's hot, your whites can they can tarnish. They can like turn yellow. So as long as it's cooled off, we do it same day.
Okay.
Yeah, but typically when you're on new asphalt, you want to bid it for 2 coats. So you know a lot of the paint goes into the little holes in the asphalt because it hasn't been sealed, so it has all these little pocks in it. You know, from rolling it depends on how tight the mat was, or like if you have 1/2 inch regular, 1/2 inch fine, or I don't know what the mix was. You know, the contractor laid it down, but typically you're going to want to put 2 coats of paint down on brand new asphalt.
That's brand new asphalt, not brand new seal coat, correct?
Yeah, brand new.
Just paved, right? With paved and not sealed. That's what I'm referring to.
So for the 2 coat, just so I understand, you're hitting it once and then coming back a couple hours later, hit it again?
I mean, I use fast dry water-based paint, so I do it again in 10 seconds. You know, I finish the line and then I go back and then I restripe it. So as long as it's not wet, you know, if it's wet and you hit it again, it's gonna puddle. It's gonna push the material, so you're not gonna have a nice crisp line. You could end up puddling it. So as long as it's not wet, you can hit it again right away.
Okay.
But when it's cold, if it's cold, it could take 5 minutes, 10 minutes to dry, even in fast dry paint. If it's really cold and or humid, humidity plays a big factor too when it gets colder.
Remember, we're talking about water-based paint, right? So water-based paint.
And I was going to say, you start on one side of your parking lot, spray through your first. Then by the time you get down at the end of your parking lot, unless it's just like 10 lines, but if you're in a fairly substantial size parking lot, you can move back and start your second coat. And then the other thing too is, are you hand pushing your paint gun, or are you on a buggy? Are you running a?
I have a rider, but I can push as well.
Well, what I'm saying is your rider, you can, on new pavement, your rider, you could just slow your pace, your ride, and you'll get to the rhythm, so you're able to do 1 coat. If it's like he was talking about, as long as the pavement's tight. But if it's like a UDOT spec or a DOT spec, which they use 3/4 larger, then you have to do second double line or second coat.
So in the future, charge them for, or prepare to charge for double coat on a situation.
More paint for sure. The other thing that you can do, like it's along the same line as what Matt's saying, is you can control the thickness of the paint with the speed that you walk and the pressure that you have on the machine. So I recommend using a bigger tip. So when you're looking at a striping tip, it's going to be like a 319, 317, 321, and so on. You can use a bigger tip, a bigger orifice that will put down more paint. So we used to use 323s for new layouts because it would put down more paint. And then we were using Graco 3900s or 5900s, and we would just dial the pressure up to closer to 2000 if we were painting new asphalt. So that, and we just did one pass on it.
Yeah, that's a great point, Dylan. Great point.
That was with the oil base?
Yeah, I was probably 90% oil, 10% water. I only used water if it was on top of coal tar or asphalt emulsion sealant. Everything else was oil based. It was just operationally, it was a lot easier for us. As Alex alluded to, you don't have to clean your machine as much. It takes longer. Well, it takes longer to dry. It doesn't dry out as easily, and you don't have as many problems if oil dries in your machine, because you can always clear it with solvent. If water dries in your machine, you're into ISP, basically isopropylene alcohol, and it just can be a little bit more challenging. But recommend that if you're going to leave oil in your machine overnight, that your intake is submerged in the paint, and then you're sealing the gun. We used white grease, like bearing grease, and it just basically closes the system to air and allowed us to leave it overnight. But we were spraying a lot of paint every year, so they were used every day.
Thank you, Dylan.
No problem.
Great question too, man. Anything else you got for us, brother, or was that everything you needed?
Oh, I guess I'm just trying to understand obviously what we just spoke about, but to further go down the line, I am doing water-based at the moment, and I'm transferring over to oil-based. So I think it's kind of difficult because you're in the middle of a job and you have paint. I still have paint left over, so I'm like trying to move over to the oil-based sector, and just I think it's a problem I'm working on right now. So I'm uncomfortable with going to oil-based just because I'm unfamiliar with it. So that's the only problem at the moment, and I don't want to use it on a new paved asphalt. So
Hey, Matty, I wanted to throw out too something that you said, that you kind of walked away from a job because of a new layout.
Yeah,
guys, yeah. I just want you to, I mean, if you really sat back and said every job is scary, then you're just going to be on here watching. So just get over that fear. And this goes back to what I said earlier about having performance partners. Don't walk away from a job, say, yeah, I could get that handled. Find your performance partner that's been doing it and can show you how to lay out or whatever the case may be. But if you already have the ear of the property owner and they want you to do a job and you have to turn them away, you gotta work on getting performance partners or get over that fear. Because that owner, once you turn them over to somebody else, it's hard to win them back unless that person messes up or something. They call you. But so you always want to answer with a, yeah, I can get that handled. I can get that handled. Whether you're a seal coater or striper or just a salesman selling work, once you get your performance partners in place, then you don't have to turn away jobs. And new layout really is, I mean, it could be intimidating, but just follow your process or follow the process, and you'll be happier by doing so.
Matt, I do have the equipment, and I do have like the measuring tools for a new layout. However, this one was the one I'm referring to in specific is I had to turn down a football stadium. I mean, nice paycheck, but yeah, I know y'all looking at me like that. So,
Are you painting the grass field of a football stadium or the parking lot? Okay, the parking lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's a lot. That's a lot of paint to put down. I mean, if it's, what are you looking at? 2,000 stalls, parking stalls?
It was about 700 parking stalls. Yeah. So I hadn't ramped up that big yet. You know, I've done small parking lots, I've done storage facilities, those kind of things. But man, that was very intimidating at the time. So
I know it's your first time on here. I was gonna say, I know it's your
Do you
first.
have a laser on your gun yet?
Yeah, I have laser and 2 dots too.
Okay.
I was gonna say, now that you're on here, just so you know, there's a huge community here with Asphalt Kingdom. We have a contractor network. You can reach out to anybody in your area that's part of that, and just have them work with you on something that big. You know, that way it gets you over the hump and figuring out how that works, and then you could bust through the next one.
Yeah, I didn't want to turn it down, but you know, at the time, you know, this is a good story for the future. You know,
we always learn from mistakes, right? So,
thank you guys.
Thank you. Awesome. Great conversation on that one. That's awesome. Anybody else have a question for us? The only question, the only wrong question is the one you don't ask, I guess, is how Judd says it, right? I read into the oil versus winter comparison made the majority of you using oil. I saw that you can overlay oil onto water when redoing lines, but can't and vice versa. So seems like the safe bet is to always use oil. That's Johnny. Is that correct? Would you guys concur?
Could have just
Always
asked,
go oil?
but I wrote it down, so it's in the chat.
Yeah, that's good. Pretty much oil for everybody else, except for Alex Coring. Is that correct? Matt, you're with oil. Dylan, you were with oil, right? Anybody else doing line striping on the screen? Steve, what do you use? Water base or oil base? You too,
I'm
Nick?
using water base currently.
Water base, okay.
Even on one of your, I think on one of your websites, I mean, it says like if it's coal tar sealant, it should be water based. If it's, you know, there's 3 or 4 different types of different sealers. You know, there was kind of like an outline, use water based for this, use oil based for this. So if it's, I think if it's like a restripe, yeah, you're good to go with oil or water. But I think if it's fresh asphalt, yeah, I think you're not supposed to do oil. Again, you guys are the experts. So, I mean, I did a parking lot. They did fresh asphalt in the aisles, but then they seal coated all the parking areas, and it was coal tar. So, you know, we did the water based, and it's holding up fine. The Costco that we just did, I mean, the lot was so dirty. Like really, they needed to pay somebody at Keeley Construction or whatever to come clean the lot, because the next day, I mean, Costco has so many cars coming through, all of the yellow lines look brown. You know, I mean, they just were so dirty from the cars running over it. And I'm not sure how well that, you know, that paint's going to actually adhere to the surface, because it was so dirty, you know. So I don't know what's best in that kind of situation.
I can jump in on Johnny's question there about sometimes water not sticking to oil. It is technically true on the chemical side of things. Sometimes, like, the reality is that for there to be a bond, like oil on oil is always going to stick better than water on oil. It really depends on how worn the lines are. If there's a fair amount of asphalt showing that's porous, that the water base could stick onto at that point, you're usually fine. But if it is oil and you know it's oil, it is best to use oil unless you're doing a seal coat or something like that. Is that helpful, Johnny?
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, Dylan.
No problem.
Sweet. Sean, you got your hand raised, brother. Go for it.
Yes. So I'm in New Orleans, and I was wondering how, like, with our climate being like low is usually around 50, would oil still be a big thing out here, or far as for our summer months where we're touching 80 and 90, would it be better to use water based, or would that be better to use oil?
My recommendation when it's hot would be oil. Water-based paint sometimes when it's hot out, like if you're using a Graco 3900, for example, the manifold filter is stainless steel and it heats up, and sometimes you can get clogs and your paint will stick in there. So I would say general rule of thumb is that oil is a little bit more forgiving than water-based, but there are just certain applications, such as you've applied coal tar sealant or asphalt emulsion sealant, where you can't use oil. If you apply oil to a sealant like that, you'll get basically like discoloring of the line. So a white line will go brown, a yellow line will go browner. So in those situations, you do have to use water. There are just some setup things that you want to look at if you're using water. You're probably straining your paint. You're mixing right before spray. There's something called cheesecloth. It's basically just a fine strainer. We used to zip tie those onto our intakes. There's also something that you can look into called a blade filter. A blade filter hooks up on the hose before the gun, and it's basically razor blades inside there, and it will chop up some of what would eventually be a clog in your tip. So if you're spraying water-based, there's a couple of setup things that are really nice to have. They're not need to haves, but they do make your life a lot easier.
Okay, thank you.
Good question, though. Depending on the area, and obviously you're going to be using different solutions. I know that in wetter climates, is the oil-based better as well? Like if I'm in, let's say, Oregon or Washington State, I'm assuming the water's probably a little better as well, because I typically get I lived in Vancouver for a while, and it wouldn't rain for 3 months straight, and I'm not willing to go without work for 3 months. So just trying to think for those guys over there. I'm assuming that's the case as well.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is that it's dry, and you want whichever one dries the quickest. So, like I think it's called Hotline, is a Sherwin product, and that's like an ultra fast drying traffic paint. You really see both. Like our kind of partner units in Vancouver were using oil based when I was operating in Alberta. I'm biased with oil because it made my life a lot easier, and it was easier just all the way around. Just get a barrel of acetone every year in the spring, and we had plenty of gun wash. So
Perfect. Anybody else got another question here? We're about 10 minutes from the top of the hour. Any other questions or anything, any other comments or feedback that you guys want to put in? While you guys are thinking about that, I just want to make sure you guys all remember tomorrow, 7 p.m. So same time as this call started, our pothole hunting workshop with Judd is on, and jump in on that. You guys will have the opportunity to win one of the R2 infrared units, a 2x2. There's also a few other things that they're in there too, but I know you'll learn a lot. Love to have you guys on. I believe there's already 250 people on tomorrow. That's already.
It's
Yes.
7 p.m. Eastern time, because
Eastern Standard Time, that's correct.
Several different time zones. Okay, great.
Eastern Standard Time, that's correct.
Hey, Matthias, I just have I'm going to throw this out. I'm currently at my yard, and just to kind of give maybe some incentive. I totally don't mean to do this to be braggadocious or anything like that, but I bought my first AK-150 from Judd, a one Rhino Works crack seal machine, and a half a pallet of seal coat, or a half a pallet of rubber, and 4 pallets of coal tar emulsion. And I believe it was in 2014 or 2016. I can't remember exactly right off the top of my head. but I'm out at my yard right now. I'm gonna see if this works. Is it okay if I do this?
Let's go.
Okay, so I'm out at my yard. Oh, let me fix my blurred screen. No blurred. I'll switch my camera here. So here's two of my trucks here, my two trailers. Is that showing up okay?
Oh, it sounds great. Yeah.
So here's one holding tank. That's an 8,000 gallon holding tank.
Bulk storage. Yeah.
Bulk storage tank. A 6,000 gallon bulk tank. A diesel storage. And that blue box is really important here, especially if we have a late lunch that's from Taco Bell or something.
Porta potty. Yeah.
Porta potty. So over here, I've got a box truck. That's my cleaning crew's truck. That second, I'll move my hand. The second truck is an infrared. So that's a 4x6 infrared. Tomorrow you have a chance to win a 2x2 infrared. That's 6x8. It hauls 3 tons of asphalt, hot asphalt. And then I have a sweeper truck. I have an old 78 dump truck. I've got my canopy here, my garage here with stuff. Skid steer. Guys, just so you know, things happen. That right there is a seal coat trailer that got rolled. So stuff does happen in your business. So you have to be prepared with insurance, with taxes, or everything. Just be prepared for it. So anyway, I show this and I say this just so there is potential of having a business that might start out as just doing lines, line striping or seal coating, and just having something that is tangible, sellable, and something to look forward to. So hopefully I put that out here just so you guys understand. I started my journey because of Judd, and just his motivation, his incentive. He talks about the vault with the different flyers and forms and stuff. When I started, there was no thing called the vault. He just sent me a bunch of PDFs and I printed them out and I started handing out flyers and started doing what I had to do. So there's potential, and I think if you follow, as Judd puts it, follow the dang process, you'll be successful.
FTK.
Work hard, be honest. Don't try to make all your money in one job. Don't rip people off. Be clean, and you'll be successful. So I throw that out there, just so you guys have something to think about. What potential there is. And I know Skyler could do the same thing at his shop. Alex can do probably the same thing at his shop. And just, we're on here. I speaking for myself, I come on here as often as I can, to learn, even though I got all this and I have systems down, which I think, but sometimes I do get a golden nugget. Somebody says something, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to try to implement that. So there's always room for improvement. So anyway, I'll leave that there. If anybody has any questions, ask away.
Thanks, Matt. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for sharing every week that you come on here. Thank you. All right, Cameron, you got another question, my friend, or a comment?
Yeah, more so to Matt and anyone who has a bulk tank. Me and my business partner were talking about putting a tank on his land, and getting that filled up. I'm kind of small. We laid down, I think, 22,000 gallons, give or take. I think it maybe 23. I was curious, when should you go about getting it? Because right now I just have a 550 tank, and the sealer plant, depending on where we're at, we have locations 20 minutes away and then 40 minutes away, depending on where we're sealing that day. But I fill it up about twice a week, 3 times a week sometimes.
How many hours are you spending? Obviously, then it's 20 hours or 20 to 40 minutes. That's a round trip of 40 minutes to 80 minutes, right? And that's 2 to 3 times a week?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to justify though because my work is split 50-50 north and south. So like there's a plant up north and then there's a plant down south. So depending on where I'm located, it can be 10 minutes from a job or it can be 50 minutes depending on where I'm located in the state. But I'm just trying to figure out like
Yeah, you just
point do
kind
I
of got to
justify?
do the math on it, right?
Mhm.
Like
That's what I was
do the
just gonna
math
say.
because it's you might get a better price buying it bulk, but then they're going to charge you a delivery charge. So, you know, it might be like $600 to run a truck out there and fill you up. And depending on how big you get, I think we're limited out here in California with like 1,500 gallons, maybe 2,000 gallons. The delivery truck won't even hold more than that. So, you know, if you get an 8,000 gallon tank, they're going to make a couple of trips to fill it up. You're going to pay a delivery charge every time. And you know, we do quite a bit of seal coating, and I have a few plants that I go to, not just one, but the plant used to be a quarter of a mile from my yard. Now it's 10 minutes from my yard, but you know, I've never gotten a bulk tank just because it just never really made sense. We just pick it up when we go out to a job. But if you have to go like 40 minutes north to then only backtrack all the way back down and then go south of where you're at, or vice versa, now you're burning 40 minutes times 2, right? And if you have to do that every day, like we'll put down 700 gallons a day. That's kind of on average what we do, and I have a 700 gallon tank, so we just fill it up every morning. But if you're not burning that tank out every single day, I probably wouldn't worry about it too much. That's just my 2 cents. You have to buy the tank, and then you're going to pay for delivery. But you know, Skylar has a tank in his yard, and I think they do mixing and custom design. So, you know, if you're going to do custom mixing and custom design, then you probably you would want to get your own tank for that. But if you're just buying ready to use and it's the same thing every time, it might not be worth it.
Matt, when you have what, 8,000 to 6,000, so that's 14,000 gallons at any given time. What's your delivery truck dropping off for you with like 5,000 gallons, 4,000 gallons? What are they doing?
4,500 gallons a time. So the event that, you know, I don't have a plant in my city that I live in. And so the plant that I used to get was 50 miles away, and the elevation change goes from 1,800 feet to I'm up at about 5,300 feet. So pulling that, you know, 1,000 gallons or 700 gallons back up the hill can be brutal on equipment. So that was my decision making for why I got a bulk tank. And I think my numbers are almost around 102,000 gallons this year. So I over exceeded my, you know, I wanted to break the 90,000 gallons, and we're about 102,000 gallons this year. So and so I just that was my factor for making that decision. You know, the other factor is that if I have a job come up on a Saturday or a Sunday, I can fill up and I can go and I can get that done. So it just depends on your model. If you have it accessible, you know, I would just crunch the numbers. I'm paying about I am paying less per gallon having it delivered to me with the shipping than I would if I had to drive and pick up from their plant, because I'm buying in that bulk. So I mean,
Plus wear and tear, all that
yeah,
stuff.
and yeah, on less wear and tear on my equipment, my trucks driving up and down the hills or whatever the case may be. So yeah, just like Alex says, you have to know your numbers, know what your process, and so once you understand that, it makes it, you know, it's makes it easier to either justify getting it or saying, I think I'll hold off on this. You know, but to me, it's been worth it. And I'll actually retail some material here, and I double the cost, or actually almost triple, but don't tell any of my clients. But yeah, so I do that because then I know who my competition is, and then I become a performance partner for them when they can't do a 100,000 square foot or a 70,000 square foot apartment complex, and they call me and say, hey, can you get this done? Because they're running either out of the pickup truck or out of a tote in the back of their truck or something like that. So anyway, that's the benefit I see of doing that. So if it works for you, great. If it doesn't, then work up your business to where you have to have it. So
that was part of my problem too, is like the weekends. Like I'm paying my rep to come in on weekends like pretty dang often, and I'm giving them like, it's not crazy, but I'm giving them like $200 every time he's coming in just to fill me up for 550 gallons.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, once you during the winter here, go through and do your calculations and say, this is how much time it takes me to actually go and fill up. I know when I used to go and pick up material, I'd have to, if I got there and no one was there in front of me, it would still take 45 minutes to an hour for them to get the pump going and fill my tank up, and then you go in and you might BS for a bit, and if you have two guys with you or somebody with you, you're burning their labor hours while you're filling up. So it just is that you just have to calculate to see if it justifies. So like for instance, that 8,000 gallon tank, it cost me $10,000 to buy the tank. I'm into it probably another $2,500 setting it, getting water to it, and getting it to where it makes it easy. So you got to factor that in to do that. The good part is that again, this becomes a sellable asset. So if any of you guys want to buy a fully operational seal coat company in Cedar City, Utah, give me a call because my shit's always for free. So anyway, I mean not for free, for sale. Sorry, not for free, for sale.
Say, wow,
So,
that's an
yeah.
offer. I don't know. Most of us would pick
Yeah.
that up.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's my take on it. I'm sure. I think Skylar, when he acquired his business, I think they had a tank there, and I think he probably, Skylar, correct me if I'm wrong. I might be mixing up your. I don't know if he's still on or not, but I think he revamped some of his processes to make it more equitable for him to make his own material. So, anyway.
Perfect. Well, I hope that answered your question, Cameron.
I know we're kind of out of time, but one other question, if you don't mind me asking, where did you get your tank? Because the only people I can find that'll actually supply me one is Sealmaster, and I don't want to use their sealer.
We have one too, but we have 1,000 to 10,000 gallon tanks, but
yeah, you can find them on aftermarket. Just make sure you check them out, that they're not, they can be full of crap, or the bearings, I've had to replace the bearings and everything on these. We do it part of my winter maintenance. Am I on? Okay. Yep. I couldn't tell if I was muted. But yeah, so you can find them aftermarket. Sealmaster, Sealright sells bulk tanks. The Asphalt Kingdom, I think, is it Rhino that sells those? Or
no, that's out of Matt Koba out of Wisconsin.
Yeah, so you can get tanks, brand new or on the used market. Sign up for Ritchie Brothers, auction house, or what, stuff like that. Right now is actually a good time to find used equipment when it comes to winter time. They're mothballing and closing up. So but yeah, make sure your numbers are make sure it's worth it to do that. So
you betcha.
Hopefully that helps.
We also have a buy and sell, like Asphalt Kingdom owns the largest, I think there's 23 or 24,000 people part of the Facebook group, buy and sell equipment on Facebook, and there's tons of people selling stuff on there. So from line stripers to seal coating machines to bulk tanks, you name it, there's tons of stuff on there. So you can always check it out there too. Awesome. Excellent. I appreciate you all so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow night. But yeah, we'll see you guys absolutely on the Asphalt Kingdom Roundtable next week on the same time at the same place here, and have a great week. Be safe. Thank you so much for joining.